The Seattle Seahawks came into the free agency period during the 2023 offseason with a major need at defensive end, as well as, hey, we need to bolster this defense. And they did it. They definitely did it in free agency. There's a couple players they brought in that I think are immediately going to step in and be immediate contributors for the Seahawks, and I'm really excited about it. And today we're going to cover it in our latest Seattle Seahawks mock draft because, it's just business. So just to recap, yes, for those of you that were saying you were not thinking of Monsters versus Aliens during this time period, you're lying to yourself. So, just a recap, running through our Seattle Seahawks recap here for free agency, and here we go. So, we talked about players that they brought in that immediately are going to contribute. So, Draymond Jones coming over from the Broncos on a 3-year, $51.5 million deal. I really love this signing because I really feel like this guy really did not get a lot of love, and Draymond Jones playing for the Broncos last year when they obviously traded Bradley Chubb and all that. They were looking for a guy to be a leader. He was a quiet leader. For Denver last year, 47 tackles, 6.5 sacks, had a forced fumble, and a 51.8 PFF grade. I think he's really going to help out the Seahawks' need along the defensive line. So, and I really like the contract value here as well, and getting a guy like Draymond Jones. So, and yes, you could still go with your guy there at the top of the first round if you want to and get an edge rusher, which I would definitely recommend. But also, it's not a huge need. You probably could go BPA here and just see who falls to you early in the first round there. And then, yes, safety Julian Love coming over from the Giants. I loved Julian Love. Over 120 tackles for New York last year, had a sack, a couple of picks, and a 70.0 PFF grade. And it was only a 2-year, $12 million contract. You're essentially getting one of the best safeties in the NFL for $6 million a year. Absolute steal, if you ask me. Jerron Reed coming back to the Seahawks from the Packers, signed a 2-year, $12 million deal, 52 total tackles for Green Bay last year, 2.5 sacks, and a 61.9 PFF grade. Really, really positive signing here. Again, helping out the trenches, helping out a part of this defense that really needs it. And still, you can go BPA here at the top of the first round. Then guard Evan Brown coming over from the Lions. 1-year, $2.25 million deal last year for Detroit. Played 768 snaps, had 6 penalties and 2 sacks, and was one of those guys that had a 60.0 over a 60.0 PFF grade. I think it was 64.8 if I remember correctly. But really positive piece along the offensive line at the very least. He's going to be a backup, if not a starter. So a very good contract there for a good player. Also, linebacker Devin Bush from the Steelers, 1-year, $3.5 million, 81 tackles last year, and a 58.8 PFF grade. He's a guy that you're looking for more splash plays, and signing a cheap deal with the Seahawks here really does give them a lot of options, especially after losing Cody Barton in free agency. So I think that they could still potentially go to draft a linebacker in the first round or maybe in the second or third if they want to. But overall, Devin Bush here at a quality contract, you gotta love it. Seahawks, who'd they lose? Well, Travis Homer, the running back who signed a 1-year, $4 million deal with the Bears. Walker, it just had a heck of a rookie year. He's going to be your guy. Kenneth Walker, he's going to be a guy that you just build around. Fantastic running back. But last year, Travis Homer had over 230 all-purpose yards and a touchdown. He's one of those scat back guys that, $4 million contract with the Bears. That's a little high. That's more starter money. Maybe he could be a starter for the Bears. We'll have to see. Even though they did bring in Miles Sanders. Cody Barton, like we mentioned, signed a 1-year, $3.5 million deal with the Commanders. This one kind of shocked me a little bit, but at the same time, the Commanders did need some help at linebacker. So 136 tackles last year for Cody Barton, 2 sacks, couple of interceptions, and a 63.7 PFF grade. You love what he does, what he brings, the leadership, just that man in the middle, absolute stud. But overall, this was a little shocking to me, again, because only $3.5 million, I would figure that the Seattle Seahawks would be ready to go and offer at least $4 million, but it is what it is. Running back Rashad Penny on a 1-year, $1.35 million contract with the Eagles. He can be a star. He can absolutely be that dude. 360 all-purpose yards and 2 touchdowns last year. The Eagles are losing Miles Sanders, but yes, also gaining, some really good backs for them in their own right. But Rashad Penny is going to be a guy that I think is going to get some carries, get some totes, and be able to do his thing. Defensive end L.J. Collier, first-round pick that never really panned out. I think in his second year, his best year was a couple of years ago where he had like 3 sacks, started all 16 games. It is what it is. But he goes over to the Cardinals on a cheap 1-year deal, had 7 tackles last year for the Seahawks and a 39.1 PFF grade. So, it is what it is. Losing a guy that never really panned out, it's not the end of the world. Who'd you keep? So you re-signed Drew Luck to a 1-year, $4 million contract, played, threw for 787 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions last year. Honestly, I think he's a really good backup quarterback, or he's going to be a really good. Maybe we could see him completely revive his career like we saw from Geno Smith. We'll have to see more, though. Geno Smith, definitely the man of the hour. 3-year, $75 million deal, over 4,200 passing yards last year, 30 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. I mean, just winning comeback player of the year. You absolutely love to see it. And even though, hey, the Seahawks could still go after a quarterback, too, at the top of the first round if they want to see him develop and go after that. So, and then, yes, bringing back Jason Myers, the Pro Bowler, on a 4-year, $21.1 million deal. 34 of 37 on field goals last year, only missed 1 extra point and hit a long of 56. So I love the value. I love a good kicker that you're bringing back, old reliable. You love to see it. Also re-signing fullback linebacker Nick Bellore to a 2-year, $6.6 million deal. Love the value of special teamer. But also, hey, we could throw him in at running back and see what he can do, or fullback, and see what we can do there. So, and then finally, you re-signed guard Phil Haynes on a 1-year, $4 million contract. More of a backup guy for 185 snaps last year for the Seahawks, 4 penalties, 4 sacks, and a 57.1 PFF grade. But you like the value. You like bringing back on a guy that is reliable and you can count on him. So on a pretty cheap deal. So you love to see it. So, but so far that's been it for the Seahawks. I expect them to continue to do more, especially through the draft. Again, I do think that they're in a position now they can go best player available rather than having to go edge at that particular spot. Now they can do whatever they want. But let us know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are all truthfully awesome. We love every single one of you. Down in the description below, you'll find all of our social media platforms. So give us a like and a follow there. Also remember to give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And finally, if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com or put in the comment section down below, and we would love to cover it. But let us know what you guys think about our Seattle Seahawks free agency recap for 2023.